Medellín. It was around 3 a.m. The streets were almost empty, except for the soft sound of rain hitting the ground and an old bus speeding through the distance, leaving behind a trail of smoke and wet air. Next to an abandoned bus station stood a car guard named Mario, a quiet, simple man who spent his nights watching over parked cars for a few coins. He knew every movement that happened in that silent neighborhood, or at least he thought he did. That night, something unusual caught his attention. 3 large cardboard boxes were placed near a streetlight pole. They hadn't been there an hour ago. Mario slowly approached them. They were sealed tightly with black tape, and from inside, a strange liquid was slowly leaking out, mixing with the rainwater on the ground. At first he thought it was just leftover meat from a restaurant delivery, but the smell, it wasn't normal. He hesitated for a moment, but curiosity won. He pulled out a small knife he used for work and began cutting the tape. The first box contained a human arm. Mario stumbled backward in shock, falling to the ground, breathing heavily. The second box contained severed legs, and the third box was the worst. The remains of a woman's body, carefully dismembered, as if whoever did it knew exactly what they were doing. Cold, controlled, methodical. The police arrived within minutes and the entire area was sealed off. But there was a major problem. The head was missing. For an entire week, Colombian authorities couldn't identify the victim. No clear fingerprints. No witnesses. No working surveillance cameras. The city started calling it the cardboard box murder. Then, on a cold morning, a shepherd outside the city, near a small forest, found a plastic bag thrown in the grass. Inside it was a human head. The face was partially damaged, but police were able to identify her. Her name was Valeria Montoya, a 32-year-old woman known in Medellín for being a specialist in training rare birds, especially parrots. Valeria lived alone in a small house filled with more than 20 birds. All neighbors described her the same way. She was quiet, always smiling, and treated her birds like her own children. But one thing stood out. In the days before her disappearance, neighbors reported violent arguments between her and her boyfriend, Raul. Raul was a mechanic with a temper and a history of aggression. However, there was no direct evidence against him. Police searched his house. Nothing. No blood. No weapon. No trace of a crime. As days passed, the case started to go cold, until something very strange happened. A young detective named Santiago was reviewing Valeria's belongings inside her home. Suddenly, one of her parrots started screaming hysterically. The bird was medium-sized, gray, named Rico. At first, Santiago ignored it, but then the bird shouted a sentence that froze everyone in the room. "Raul, stop." Silence filled the house. Santiago stared at the bird, confused. Seconds later, it repeated again. "Raul, don't kill me." The police were stunned. Valeria was a professional bird trainer, and Rico was known for mimicking phrases he heard often. Santiago began to suspect that the bird had witnessed the actual murder. The police immediately reopened the investigation into Raul. This time, they focused on small details. A neighbor said that on the night of Valeria's disappearance, they heard a parrot screaming violently from inside the house. Another witness claimed they saw Raul leaving late at night wearing a jacket stained with something dark. Under pressure, Raul started to act nervous. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Police decided to re-examine Raul's old car. At first glance, it looked clean. Too clean. That alone raised suspicion. After a detailed forensic analysis, investigators found tiny blood traces hidden in the trunk, covered under layers of cleaning chemicals. The DNA matched Valeria Montoya. At that moment, Raul broke down. He confessed everything. He said he had a violent argument with Valeria after she decided to leave him permanently. He was obsessed with her in an unhealthy way and couldn't accept rejection. The argument escalated into physical violence. He pushed her, and she hit her head. Instead of calling for help, he panicked, and decided to hide the crime in the most horrific way imaginable. He spent the entire night dismembering the body and scattering the remains across different parts of the city, believing no one would ever find out. But he made one mistake. A witness, a small parrot sitting inside the house, watching and hearing everything. In court, the Medellín Parrot Case became one of the most disturbing murder cases in Colombia's history. The press later named the bird the witness that never forgets.